Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Bowling University studio from the International Bowling Campus here in Arlington, Texas. I'm Bart Berger, and I'll be your host for this edition of the Bowling University Tuesday Morning Profit Break. Thank you for joining us. The Tuesday Morning Profit Break is an opportunity for sharing insights on how to grow revenue, reduce cost, enrich yourself, your team, and your business. Welcome to our new viewers, and welcome back to those of you joining us again. Thank you all for taking a few minutes out of your busy day. We have another great show ready to get started. So grab your coffee or your favorite morning beverage and let's get started improving your profitability. Now today we have with us a very special guest. Joining us this morning is Dr. Joseph Bichelli. Now folks, I am always excited when we have a guest with us to share some of their expertise, but this week I am beyond excited for all of you to hear from today's guest. Dr. Bichelli is a Wall Street Journal, USA Today, and New York Times #1 best-selling author. He's worked with and written about a few brands you may have heard of: Mercedes-Benz, Starbucks, Zappos, the Ritz-Carlton, and one of my personal favorite, the world-famous Pike Place Fish Market in Seattle. And today, he's carved out a few minutes for all of you as you are on the road to recovery from the pandemic. Now, Joseph's newest book, Stronger Through Adversity, world-class leaders share their pandemic, time-tested lessons on thriving during the toughest challenges, could not be more timely for all of us, and is destined to be another bestseller. In fact, I'm calling it here, it's a must-read. Now, if you're joining us today and you're from our industry, his name might sound a little familiar, as Joseph was scheduled to be our keynote speaker at our bowling summit this last January. Obviously, that didn't happen. But folks, I have some exciting news to share with you at the end of today's show. But for now, I want you to hear from Joseph himself. So Joseph, thank you so much for spending a few moments with us, and congratulations on the new book.
Well, thank you, Bart. For all those accolades notwithstanding, my biggest claim to fame is my mom was a big-time bowler, so she would really be happy that I'm here today.
Awesome. Well, let's dive right in. First of all, I am fascinated that during the middle of a pandemic, you were able to get 140 leaders to connect with you and respond, and not only share with you what they were doing in real time, but how they were positioning themselves for the future coming out of this. I'm blown away by it. So it's great material, timely research. But can you spend a few moments with us today and share with us, coming out of that, how might those experiences help some of our audience in our industry today?
I think it's really an opportunity for us to take stock in what we need to do to take care of ourselves and lead ourselves first. The willingness to reach out to others, to get support, the ongoing learning that's involved in taking a few minutes of your day to be a part of this particular broadcast, for example, coming to upcoming events for BPAA. All of that is part and parcel of what I saw great leaders, global leaders, the CEOs of Verizon or Target or Kohl's or Microsoft, what they were really doing to try to say, look, in order for me to take care of the rest of the organization, I really need to invest some time in myself for my growth, because the old rules just simply don't apply anymore. So we need to reach out to each other and try to find and carve our new path to a better than normal world in the Bowling Proprietors Association. In that world of running bowling establishments, really important to reach out to one another and garner that strength.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned your mom was a bowler. I love it. I love the connection on there. But specifically to our bowling audience, what do we need to do to engage guests in this post-pandemic world that is upon us?
I think lots of people turn to technologies this particular time because they didn't have another option. And I think if you're running a business of any sort or size now, it really is a matter of blending your technology solutions with your human solutions. And I often talk about this being technology aided and human powered. It's really a time to look at the journey of the high value segments that you serve and understand how can you make certain of those high value touch points easier through technology, and which others do you need to bring people to welcome individuals fondly, to send them off after they've had had an experience with you with a warm goodbye that greets them and causes them to want to come back for the next opportunity. And I think really, technologies are enabling people to schedule things without having to be physically present. They're allowing them to pay without actually having monetary transactions. And I think we need to be looking at how do we use those technologies to add convenience at the times when they enhance an experience, and then when do we step away from those technologies to make sure we have people poised to create an experience that is so communal and so much a part of the bowling industry.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I want to make sure I get this correct quote from your book. Said, all business is personal, and businesses must deliver practical and emotional value. I love that, emotional value. So how does that relate to some immediate things that we might be able to put into place?
Well, let's start with the realization that there was a heightened amount of emotion during the last 14, 15, 16 months, however longer we've been dealing with this. And that heightened state of emotion creates arousal, which then causes people to have seared in moments of memory. So if we think about the things that are most memorable to us, if I asked you to think about a concert in your lifetime that you attended, of all the concerts you've ever gone to, the one you're most likely to call up at the top of memory is one that was either a peak moment, it was unbelievable, you're not really sure how you were able to be at that place, that time, or it was such a train wreck, it was such a devastatingly terrible experience that you can't erase it from your memory as much as you'd like to. And the reality is, as business owners, we have an obligation to figure out what are those emotional drivers. How do we listen to those high-value segments in our customer base? How do we listen with frequency to understand not only what they say they want, but to really listen with our eyes and understand what they truly need based on the emotional uncertainties, concerns, anxieties, and then to be able to position solutions for them at moments that are going to be really memorable. And it's not just about removing pain moments. It's not just about being able to make sure people are safe and secure. It's oftentimes about saying, how do I create a memorable moment along their time with me? And that can be as simple as just a really fond farewell, the willingness to spend more time opening and closing doors for people as they come into your establishment and saying, thank you for taking the time to be with us today. We're looking forward to seeing you again. Whatever it is, it's different, it's differentiated, and it's memorable. And we'll be, hopefully sharing even more ideas about this in the future.
Yeah. Well, Joseph, I'm going to sneak in one more question here as we are coming to the end of our time. But I go back to your ability to connect with so many leaders in so many different industries. And as I was reading the book, one of the chapters that caught my eye right away, and I think it probably was great naming on your part, was, put your mask on first. And I love that. And the first thing was, here we go, the mask debate. But as I read and understood that, it had nothing to do with the mask in the traditional sense. So could you share a little bit about that and what you mean by put your mask on first?
Well, my hunch is that members of your association were spending lots and lots of time trying to make the lives of those around them better, to keep the operations going, to keep people safe. And in the process of all that otherness, all that focus on the needs of others, you can really get lost. You can get lost in self-care, and it can be very difficult to get up out of your chair and take a walk or stretch or breathe. It can be very difficult to reach out and contact someone else and say, help me here, I don't really know where I'm going. I'm kind of clueless here. I think it can be very difficult to take some time for self-education, to have conversations about things that you may not be previously aware of. Who knew that there were so many ways in which we could sanitize things? The fact of the matter is that people who, I think, differentiated themselves were the ones who took the time to step out, to stretch, to breathe, and to realize that this is a marathon, and all business is a marathon. It's always a journey. And they took the time to nurture themselves so that they could be of assistance to others.
Yeah, and you do. You have to put your mask on first, take care of yourself before you can take care of others there. As those of us that travel, that analogy hits home there. So, Joseph, I cannot thank you enough for sharing your expertise with us today. We're excited about having you with us in June. We look forward to your time with us.
Thank you, Bart. I couldn't be more excited.